Hello everyone, welcome to America TV. My name is James, one of the e-guides here at America, and we welcome our audience members joining us online. We hope that you're doing well and staying safe. America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. For those of you who are joining us through Zoom, welcome. There are a couple of features that you can use to actively participate with us. You can leave your questions in the Q&A box section, and use our chat box section to say hi to the panelists and our other participants. In this episode, we'll be having building strong CVs and resumes and letters of recommendations for U.S. graduate school applications. But before we begin, I have here a little icebreaker game for our audience members. I've got, ideally, a length of a resume should be, and I have here several options for everyone. A, 1 page, no more. B, 2 page, no more. C, 4 to 5 pages. Or D, whatever number of pages is necessary to qualify the candidate. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving a live shout out to whoever can answer correctly on our social media. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag at America's Instagram account. Now, without further ado, let me introduce everyone to today's moderator, Kak Fina. Kak Fina, the stage is yours.
All right, thank you so much, James. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining in. Welcome to Ed America TV. My name is Vina. I'm one of the Education USA advisors based in Ed America. And tonight, I'm very excited because we are going to talk about everything about resume, CV, and letters of recommendation. So if this is your first time, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. The last time I gave a presentation was 3 weeks ago. So I'm very happy to be back here tonight talking to you guys. And I have Santika here with me, one of my colleagues, also with Education West Ed America. She'll be somewhere in the chat box in Zoom. So feel free to ask questions. But after the presentation, I'm going to take some questions from you guys as well. And I would also like to say hi to everyone who is watching this via other platform because we are basically everywhere. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are also on YouTube. You can also watch us from Ed America's website. And of course, some of you guys are starting to coming in here in Zoom. So if you want to join the crowd, feel free to do that. You can go ahead, find the registration link on the Ed America's website. But wherever you guys are watching from, and if you're comfortable, please stay there and feel free to leave some of your questions or comments from whatever platform that you are using, because we already have an amazing team here in America making sure that all of your comments and all of your questions are going to be in one Excel sheet so that at the end of my presentation, I can take a look at some of these questions. All right, so I'm just going to start my presentation, which is a brief introduction about Education USA, just in case this is your first time hearing about us. So what is Education USA? We are part of the U.S. Department of State Network, or here in Indonesia, kita bilangnya Kementerian Luar Negerinya Amerika Serikat. So we have over 400 international student advising centers in more than 170 countries. So as you can see, we are basically all over the world. So what we do as the Education USA advisors, we assist everyone who wants to study in the US for higher education. So for masters, for bachelor's, masters, and or PhD atau S1, S2, and S3. And all of our services are free of charge. So please, we urge everyone to use our service because basically what we really hope is for you guys to study in the US. So in Indonesia, is really exciting because not only in America, but we actually have a total of 8 centers with 10 advisors. So there are 2 in Jakarta, so one at the US Embassy with David and Iqbal, and then the other one is in America, of course, with me and my colleague Santika. We also have 2 in Surabaya at the US Consulate General with Husky, and then another one is at Unair, Universitas Airlangga Unair with Amber. Kita juga ada satu in Medan at the US Consulate there with Jeffrey. Another one in Malang at Universitas Muhammadiyah with Zaki. One in Makassar at Universitas Fajar with Cendani. And last but not least, we have one in Banda Aceh at Universitas Islam Negeri Win Araniri with Lilis. So if there is no Education USA Center nearby from where you live, you don't have to worry because basically all of us in Indonesia, we are basically covering the whole country. All right. So, but you know, since you are here with us within America, why don't you just, reach out to us, reach out to Santika and myself. So we provide you with 5 steps. So step 1 is research your options. So if you are thinking about studying in the US, but you don't know where to start, let's have a chat. Let's talk about some of your options as an international student. And then we can move on to step 2 after you are pretty much convinced that you're going to study in the US. Step 2 is equally important. That is finance your studies. Because of course, there are a number of funding options for us here in Indonesia. And then we can move on to step 3, which is completing your application. This is definitely equally important as well, because this is where you're going to, like submit all of your applications. So for example, like the event that we're going to have tonight is basically part of step 3. There are a lot of things going on here in step 3. So for example, like what we're going to talk about tonight: resume, CV, letters of recommendation, essay, your standardized tasks like GRE or GMAT, and many more, right? So we are here to guide you on all of those. And then we can move on to step 4 after that, after you submit everything and then you actually get accepted. And then step 4 is when we are guiding you before you apply for your student visa. I know it's not really the case here at the moment because of the pandemic. The U.S. Embassy is currently still closed, but normally what happens in step 4 is when we are guiding you on the student visa. All right, and then last but not least, step 5, prepare for your departure. This is when we have our annual event in Ed America normally, when we actually invite as many Indonesian as possible, both those who already get accepted and people who have not get so because
Hi everyone. So we are having a technical issue here, so stick with us. Don't go anywhere because Fina will be back before you know it. And so yeah, what Fina was talking about was that we provide you with anything that you need in order for you to study to US. So 5 steps, but you don't have to come to us from the beginning, from the step 1. You can come to us basically from any step that you are currently in right now. So most of our service, the big part is actually on the step 3, which is the completing US application. That you will need a lot of things to prepare and everything like that. But we are here for you if you have any questions and you want to check your essay or CV or resume. We are here for you. Fina and I are very happy to receive CV and resume and essays. So what happens is, if you want to get your essay reviewed by us, you need to send it to us from the soft copy to our email first, and then we will talk later about when we are going to have the review session via Zoom these days, because we are doing advising session one-on-one through Zoom these days due to the pandemic. If you guys have been to Ed America before, you know that we do it face to face every day. We are open every day, but this is the same thing. We are just doing it online. So we are available every day for you to do advising with us. Okay. So what I'm gonna share with you, the things that you will need to contact us. Just hang in there. I'll just wait for Fina for a bit while looking for the PPT that I can share to you. So yeah, if you let's see, if you want to contact us but you don't know where to start, you can start emailing us from jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. And if you want to go directly to Zoom, you can find us in the Zoom meeting ID. Let's see, this is the Zoom meeting ID. So take note, this is the Zoom meeting ID 276-124-396. So we are available from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. And Fina is back. Hi, Fina.
I'm good. Oh my goodness. Sorry, everyone.
That's
How is
okay.
my connection?
Your connection is still struggling. So I think if you can change to another, Wi-Fi connection, that will be best that we try that. And yeah, I was just telling everyone here that they are very welcome to email us if they are not ready for, meeting us through Zoom like this, one-on-one. Some people are more shy and everything like that, but Fina and I are very used to meeting new people, so we will not make you feel awkward at all. Okay, so Imraul says contact information again, please. Okay, so I'm just gonna read it again. Okay, so the email is jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org, and the Zoom meeting ID for the one-on-one advising is 276-124-396. And we are available from 1 until 9 p.m. So from 1 until 5, that will be me. And from 5 p.m. onwards to 9 will be Fina. Okay, but for essays and CV or resume review, please send us your draft first before you come in to ask for the review, because we will need a longer time than first timer who came in like, hi Santika or Fina, like I want to study to US, how do I start? Because that will only take maybe 20 to 30 minutes, or CV resume review will take 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So I think it's just fair that we will try to see first before we decide if you need the Zoom review session or not for your essays. Okay. So Denaya Karenzi 276124396 for the Zoom. Is it correct? Okay. I'm gonna read it again. 276-124-396 for the Zoom meeting ID. Okay, guys. If you guys missed this, don't worry so much about it. Basically, you can find us anywhere. Just even if you go to Google like Education USA at America, you will be redirected to our website atamerica.or.id. They have a dedicated tabs of Education USA where you can find Fina and me there. FAQs, a testimonial, upcoming events, actually everything. That's how you can find us actually. So don't worry too much about the contact information, okay? So yeah, today, so we will talk about a lot of things, starting from CV, resume, and then letter of recommendations. I'm sure all of you here will have some questions on, CV, resume, because US CV and resume is not the same as Indonesian resume. Fina actually will show you guys, what are the main differences and everything like that. And, letter of recommendations, the crucial part that I can tell you right now before we go to Fina's presentation is that it has to be confidential, and so you're not supposed to write your own letter at all. Like, no matter what's your excuse, like, oh, the recommender told me to write myself, and he or she will check it and then sign it for me. That's still a no. Like, no matter what the circumstances is, you shouldn't write your own letter of recommendation, because that's a fatal if the admission office read the letters of recommendation and they also read your essay and the style of writing is similar. That just triggers them off, and you just forfeit your chance to be accepted at all. So yeah, that's that from me, and I'm still waiting for Fina because she's not here yet. Let's see. Maybe I should just start with the presentation. Let me check with my team. Okay, let's see. Okay. So let's see. Let me sign in here. Sorry guys, I think it's the rainy season and everything. Even at my place, I have 2 internet providers, but one of them is actually dead, like dead. I cannot use it since yesterday. So yeah, I think this is just one of those days, right? We need to improvise. So here we go with today's presentation. It is 8 October, building strong CV and letter of recommendations. Here you go, guys. I'm just gonna open it with the Google Slides and let's see how it pans out. I hope there is no error whatsoever here, so I can just share it with you guys. Okay, so if you have any questions, regardless of where you're watching, if you're watching from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram Live, if you have any questions, shoot your questions to the comment box. If you are watching from other platform other than Zoom, if you're in Zoom, use the chat box, and when Fina rejoin us, she will be able to see your questions and everything. Maybe she can help answering. But if not, we have a Q&A. We have a Q&A section at the end of the presentation, so don't worry too much about it. We will try our best to cover everything, okay? So it's a no. I need to, okay, let's see. Okay, so I can open it from here, but it will be a bit distorted, guys, so bear with me. I hate this, but this is better than nothing, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, and let's see the other one. Here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna share my screen with you all. Let's see from here. I think Fina was cut off from here, right? Okay, I'm just gonna start from here, here, here. Okay, present. And here we go. Share screen. Ready? Okay, this is our contingency plan, right? Here you go, guys. Can you guys see the presentation? Can you guys let me know in the chat box, please? Okay, let me check my chat box. Okay, yes. All right, let's go. So starting from here, because a lot of you are asking the contact information right here. So this is it, okay? This is our email on the top left. You can see Fina's and mine. Feel free to email us if you don't know which one to decide to email. You can email us on the center one. I will let you know after this slide. So that's the hours, 1 until 9. That's the Zoom ID 276-124-396. Okay. And this is the center email if you don't know who to contact first. Okay. This is our upcoming event. So we are having. So last month we have IELTS introduction, three sessions, and this month we start with TOEFL IBT. So we have 3 sessions as well. We had the first one last Saturday. If you missed it, you want to watch it, you can contact me. I can give you the link how to watch it from our YouTube. And then this Saturday will be the second one. It will be 2 until 4 p.m. If you are interested to look on the options of your English standardized test. Aside from IELTS, aside from Duolingo, if you want to get to know TOEFL IBT and compare them to the rest of your options, this is the right sessions for you, okay? Just go to our website to register, just like what you are doing right now. Okay, so this one is how to write statement of purpose. It will be next Thursday, October 15, 6:30 until 8:30. So this will be for those of you who are, writing your drafts or you don't know where to start to write your drafts. This will be very helpful because a lot of our advisees actually come to the same event for more than once or more than twice, actually. So this one is the part 3. It's another Saturday, October 17th, same time. And you can check all of our events through our official website, educationusa.state.gov, or our website, atamerica.org.id/educationusa. So if you remember what I mentioned to you, if you go to America website, there will be like this one dedicated tab of Education USA, and that's why the /Education USA is for, okay? So sorry for that, it's a bit distorted. So today we'll start with building strong CVs or resumes and letter of recommendations for US graduate schools application. But if you are applying for undergrad, I don't think this will be also helpful and applicable to you, but maybe not everything, because as you know, like high schoolers have maybe less experience and things to write for your CV or resume compared to if you are applying for like master or PhD, but still it will help you. Okay, so you can start with making a list of requirements. Okay, you want to start with making a list of requirements. Okay, let me just Okay, there you go. Start with making a list of requirements, okay? TOEFL or IELTS, and then college transcript, CV or resume, letter of recommendation, GRE or GMAT, statement of purpose or personal essay. So what will happen here is you need to check with the university or universities that you are going to apply to, because these are just the general requirements. Some university have very specific requirements, like they require you to have additional writing or like additional academic writing essay and things like that. So that will be like what, the seventh requirements. And some university actually waive the GRE or the GMAT, like they don't need it. Just double check if that is necessary for you to apply to that certain university and program. Some universities and program, they can like be different. If you're applying to program A in university, let's say if you're applying to different program in same university, they can have different requirements. Okay, so that's what you want to check first before anything else. And don't forget the deadline. Okay, that's very important, because if you know the deadline, you know how you can catch up to this, all of the requirements that you need. Okay, and the good news during this pandemic is a lot of universities actually waive the need of GRE or GMAT. So if you are thinking to apply but like, oh my god, I cannot do the GRE, I cannot do the GMAT, well, maybe you want to check and see if this is your chance. Okay, so CV and resume, we'll talk about it today. What is the difference, right? So CV is curriculum vitae. It means course of life in Latin. So what it means is actually like from the beginning of your all of your like education background, your work experience, and everything that you have done, like maybe for your volunteer and everything. So it's just everything, and usually it's over 2 pages or more. It is highly detailed about your achievement and more than just career history. Covers your education, teaching, research experience, publication, awards, basically everything that you have done, both in your academic and outside of your academic record. Like maybe your volunteer, your research, your publications. That's everything. You don't choose to include which and which to exclude, because there's a CV, okay? It's static and don't change for different position. The difference will be in the cover letter. So what does it mean by static? It's like, so treat the CV as like a record, like a database of your everything, your experience in teaching and in work and education and everything. So they don't really change because it's just a record, right? It's different. It's going to be different with resume. Okay, so this is resume. It means summary in French. It's a concise document, typically no longer than 1 page. Summary of your experience, education, and skills. Intended reader will not dwell on resume for very long, as you know, because it's only usually 1 to 2 pages maximum. So you can imagine that I think they only spend a few seconds actually on each of your resume. But the goal is to make this resume, even though it's just for very short time that they look at it, that it's appealing to them. Okay, they can find what they need to know from you from that few seconds. Okay, the goal is to make the individual stand out from the competition. So this is what you want to highlight in your resume. Like, is my resume catchy and shows your strongest strength and ability and experience, and it should adapt to every position or purpose to the applicant is applying for. So I think this last bullet point is more applicable if you are saying that you are using the CV or resume for a job application. So in resume, you want to adapt what you need to include and what not. It's the same with if you're applying to universities. You want to know if your research experience matter. You want to know if your publications matter. When you're applying for, let's say, a program that's more concentrated for research, you want to show your strength more in the research area, and just tailor it based on what you think that they're looking for. Okay, so CV and resume and 3 major differences. Let's see. I'm checking out the chat box. Okay, our social media is there. Okay, I'm in good hands. Okay, so 3 major differences. 1 is the length, 2 is the purpose, and 3 is the layout. Okay, so CV is long. It covers an entire career and education, and it's static. It doesn't change that much. And resume should be short, adapt to the purpose, and highly customizable. Okay. And what's common to both? So this is like the sample from Michigan State University. Vina actually like put this in. This is actually like a few parts there. See? Okay, so I'm going to go through the top. So for you can see from the left one is actually a resume because it's more like straightforward, and you can see it's a lot like concise, more concise than the right one because it's a CV. In CV, you can put enter to make it look neat. But in resume, I think you need to save some space because the maximum is 2 pages. So it has to be in the US letter size. Both CV and resume, contact information on the top. It should be white, light cream, or gray paper of good quality if you're going to print it out, which we rarely do these days. But yeah, in terms of like, even if it's a soft copy, you don't want to make it too fancy in a way like the background is so colorful that it's just like too much. So what you want to do is like the classic version, like white, light cream, or just gray in the background, and a clean background. Okay, so no patterns and whatsoever. And the size is 12, and use professional font, something that's really, really easy to read. You don't want to risk fancy fonts and then they don't know what you are writing there. Okay. And next will be don't use I statement, so no first person. And I think it's more common to read CV or resume in like a passive voice. So the object first and later the subject, So yeah, things. So the sample here is like this: conducted interviews, research task, answered questions. So it sounded more passive, and it's what you did. It's in the past, and the content is in reverse chronological order. The most recent first. So that means if you graduated, from your master this year, that will be on the very top, and your bachelor later on. So it's the reverse chronological order, and this is very, very important, okay? So your current work will be on top, and usually it's dash present, like let's say from 2016 until present. And then the below is those that are in the past, okay? And you can put references at the end, but not necessarily have to, because if the university application requirement already asks for a letter of recommendations, I think it's better to use those people who are in your reference to be people who give you letters of recommendation. And you don't have to include photo. This is like one of the main big differences that I mentioned earlier, that you don't need to include your photos in CV or in US CV or resume. It's different with Indonesian CV or resume. Vina and I received numerous of CV and resume from all of you who is living in Indonesia, and I think it's intended to find work here. And we find it very unique because then you put picture, you put your date of birth, you put a lot of things that's not necessary, like your religion, your gender. Those all of that are not necessary for US CV and resume. Okay, keep that in mind. And this is the US resume in short. It's tailored to the position, so it's the same if you're applying for this university that's the program that's very heavily on research or anything like that you want to show your research more. You want to choose your research experience more than those things that maybe don't really matter for the program itself. That's how you tailor your resume. Okay, it's 1 until 2 pages. The contact information is still on top. That's the similarity to the CV. Education, qualification, professional. So education will be always on the top. I think especially it's especially relatable if you are applying to universities, because then they want to know what is your last education, right? And then your work, because we are talking about if you're applying for a master but you haven't got your bachelor, that will be you maybe you are not qualified yet, because you will need a bachelor degree. That's the first thing that they want to know first. So that's why education will be on top. And then professional, brief bulleted statements for your professional experience, and then specialized skills and affiliation. So affiliations can also be like organizations, or you can, if you don't really, if you want to make it more active, you can like change it to volunteer experience, or anything like that. So you can customize this, okay? This is not, bukan template yang plek-plekan harus diikutin kayak gini, okay? So this is the CV. It's just an overview again, your academic life in full. So you can see that they put pre-education qualifications here and verses of 1 in the resume. And then your academic, your research teaching experience, if any, and your, I don't know, if you are, doing some projects and everything like that, you also include it here, specialized skills and affiliations, okay? So, okay, CV and resume, how is it different in Indonesia? So this is a common, like I mentioned, this is a common CV or resume. This is a CV actually, CV, typical CV in Indonesia. It's very, very long. It contains your personal data, and it has, the personal data is totally not necessary, like your nationality, your gender, your marital status, date of birth, place of birth. You don't need all of that, and the picture as well. You don't need it. Also, the apply for, you won't need it. Just your name, address, your mailing address. I got a lot of questions on, you are working, let's say you are not from Jakarta, but you're working in Jakarta, which address you should give, like your home, your home back in, outside of Jakarta, or the one in Jakarta that you're currently living. So I always suggest your current mailing address, that you have confidence in receiving any documents, so you don't miss those things, okay? And then email, and then phone number. These days we can also include our LinkedIn link if you have it. If you don't, then that's fine. Or any, like, let's say you are like a researcher or lecturer and you have your own website, that can help as well. You can put it on the top of your information, okay? Let's see, how is it different in Indonesia again? No picture, no religion, no marital status, no other unnecessary information. Okay, so this is the recap of what I was just saying. And this is the title of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It is a federal law that prohibits employers from discriminating against employees on the basis of sex, race, color, national origin, and religion. Why is this here, you ask? Because this is the reason why you as CV or resume do not need your picture, do not need your gender, do not need your nationality, do not need your religion to be placed there, because they have this Civil Rights Act. Like they don't want to discriminate people who apply for jobs, or they don't want to choose you based on certain traits that you put in there, regarding your sex, race, color, national origin, and religion. Okay, so this applies to private and public colleges and universities as well, employment agencies and labor organizations. All right, so don't worry. I've received questions like, okay, so let's say you don't put any picture, you don't put any, your personal information or your biodata, but you still worry, like, if I graduated from a school that the university won't know, like it's a small school here in Indonesia, will it be a problem? Like, will they still accept you and everything like that? I would say yes. They don't, US universities are very holistic. They do not choose someone just because they graduated from a well-known school or because of their GPA is so good. they are holistic in a way that they weigh everything that they ask from you, which is all of the requirements. So that's why they ask for those things, right? They want to see and get to know you, all of this aspect that they ask for from you, and then make decisions based on everything, not just one aspect. I mean, if they want to look at your GPA only, they will only ask for your transcript and nothing else. Why bother asking for your CV? Why bother asking for a letter of recommendation and everything? The rest of the things, okay? So don't think that way at all. All right, so CV and resume for grad schools. They're used for individuals seeking fellowships, grants, postdoctoral positions, teaching research position in post-secondary institution, or high-level research positions in the industry. So graduate schools usually request a CV, but they can also ask for a resume that includes any publication and description of a research project. So I've seen requirements from the university that states CV or resume. So they don't just ask for CV or resume, but they just like CV or not like either one. They state both of them, so it makes us confused. Like which one should I submit? Which one is better? So in that case, I would say still submit maybe your CV or resume, but in a version that gives you the best strength. Like if you're applying for this position that is research based and everything, you want to put in your research experience. Of course, that's what you should include, despite of like the pages. Like if you only have 2 pages, then you need to fit that in. Okay. So US universities generally take a holistic approach to evaluate applicants. This is what I was talking about. It means that your CV matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. You cannot change your GPA anymore. You cannot change where you worked before. So those kind of things that you don't have to worry so much because it's in the past. But that's why Fina always said, and I always agree with that, like you want to improve on things that you still can improve. Not only those things that you cannot improve anymore, like your transcript, your GPA, your university score, but like your essay, your letter of recommendation, and of course, like CV and resume, it has limitation on how much you can customize and make them better. But still, there's something you can do for your CV and resume, like making it more quantifying, making it more stronger in this and that aspect. Okay. So this is a continuation of that. It's useful to represent yourself holistically, okay? You should adapt the resume to every position or purpose the applicant is applying for. Review the application requirements for the department or graduate school. So if you're applying for, let's say, teaching assistantship or research assistantship position in the university, in the department, you want to show that you have those kind of experience as well. That's what it means by adapting your resume to the position or purpose. Okay. If it is unclear whether they prefer a CV, resume, or combination of both, you can contact to ask them directly. Sometimes they don't even need your CV or resume if they don't mention, CV or resume at all in the requirements. That's what I was saying, that you need to check on the requirements first before you jump in, like worrying this and that. Okay. So we will go for the letters of recommendation, but I'm just gonna check on the time real quick here because we will finish at 8 and we have 50 minutes left. Okay. Letters of recommendation, let's see. It's a detailed discussion from the referees of the personal qualities, accomplishment, and experiences that sets you apart from other applicants, that shows you are perfect for the programs and that you want to apply. So, if usually they will ask for between 2 until 5 letters of recommendations. The common one is 2, but it can goes up to 5 letters of recommendation, depending on the program and the school that you're applying to in US. And usually they will ask for like academic and professional aspect, letters of recommendation from academic perspective and professional aspect. And what it means is, if it's academic, it will be from your faculty members. So it's like those professors that you were studying with, back in your university days, back in your maybe bachelor or master degree if you're applying for a PhD. And then the professional one will be from someone in your workplace. The rule of thumb is that this person at work is someone who is in a higher position than you. Not necessarily, like the boss, like the president of the company. No, it's just if you are a manager, maybe the letter of recommendation can come from a senior manager. It's just like as long as the person is not the same level as you at work, then they can be someone who give you a letter of recommendation. Okay. Um, and sometimes it's case by case. So if you say you just graduated, you don't have work experience, that's why you cannot provide like the professional aspect for letter of recommendation. Then you can try to email the admission office and consult with them, like tell them like I was just graduated and I'm still finding jobs and everything like that, and I realize you need a letter of recommendation from my professional aspect. Is it okay if I change it to academic letter of recommendation? If case, they can say yes, they can say no. So go ahead and contact them. Don't be shy to ask that kind of questions. Okay. And last one is the best letter writers are those that know you well and can provide evaluation of your ability to perform and succeed at the graduate level. So I'm planning to have, let's see. So we will finish at 8 and I have only 20 minutes left. No, 50 minutes left. So I'll have 20 more minutes for my presentation. I'm just gonna set this timer real quick. Okay, continue with this. Provide an evaluation of your ability to perform and succeed at the graduate level. This means, like what I said, Santika, is it better if I can get the president of the company give me a letter of recommendation while I am just a manager? So the answer to that is depends. If you work directly under the president of the company very closely, and the president knows you really well on what your strength and your ability and how well you do this and that, and very supportive of you, then I will say yes. But if you only met this president only like once a year in the company dinner or event, then it's a no. Okay, because he don't know or she don't know you well enough, or like how you perform at your work, and you guys never been in maybe like a same project or anything like that. So the bulletproof ones are those people that is really supportive of you and work together with you, maybe in certain projects. Okay, in if he or she was your lecturer back in college, and I have this funny story where this advisee got a letter of recommendation from the professor back in the college that he had a very hard time with studying in that class. So it's not something that he or she got 4.0 the class. He barely passed, but the professor know him so well because he keeps coming back to learn so much from the professor, never give up, and that's why he can pass. That's why the professor really admire that kind of quality in him and write him such a good letter of recommendation. Okay, so it's not something that it has to be perfect. No, it's the content. It's not how famous or how high this position of the recommender that's important. It's the content. Okay, so how important are these letters? Okay, they are required for almost every graduate school application. Your transcript, standardized test score, and admission essay factor in most heavily, but the letters of recommendation could be the deciding factor in the admission process. You cannot underestimate these things because it's coming from someone else. It's not from you. Your essay comes from you, your score transcript and everything is about you, but recommendation letter is about someone recommending you, like saying good things about you. This is big. Okay, this is huge. If the letter's really good, it's really supportive of you, it highlights every quality that the admission office is looking for, that that will be so helpful to make you have a bigger opportunity to be accepted. So an excellent recommendation letter can make up for your weakness in any of the application documents. And this is also why it's holistic. So if you're, let's say, like I said, like let's say your GPA, you cannot change it anymore, right? Okay, your GPA is just so. You just graduated. You just graduate with that kind of score, okay? And your letter of recommendation is so good, and your essay is good, and the rest of the things is just okay, or maybe like some of the score could be better, like your standardized test could be better, but the letter of recommendation is super good. So they wouldn't like question other things because this letter of recommendation is so good that it covers your weakness. Okay. It can vary in general. It can vary, but generally you will be asked for 2 letters. Like I mentioned, usually they will ask for 2, one from academic and one from professional, but it can go up to 5 letters of recommendation. If they say minimum of 2, maximum of 5 letters, you want to try to get 5 letters. Okay, guys, maximize it. Okay. You need to make sure that each of the what you should be doing. Okay, they will help you, but you need to help them. You need to help them to let them help you. That's what I really usually say. You can be upfront and talk to them about what they are going to say. So, okay, my internet is not that good, I assume. So I'm just gonna check if people can. Is my connection okay, guys? I'm just worrying. Okay. So yeah, you can be upfront and talk to them about what they are going to say. So help them to help you. Provide them with your details, like your CV or resume, what kind of program you're applying, what university you're applying to, what kind of ability, skills, and past experience that you did with this recommender together in the past. Remind them. Like, do you remember that we did this kind of thing? Like the project, it went well despite of this kind of challenges. Remind them, and ask them to highlight it. It's fine, as long as you don't write it yourself. So make sure you give your recommenders plenty of lead time. Lead time means like plenty of time, basically. And you don't want to, give them your real deadline. This is like one of the tips from people who hunt scholarships and apply to so many universities in the United States. Don't give your real deadline. So if your application deadline is let's say today, it's 8th of October, you want to tell your recommender that you need the letter by at least 1 week, 2 weeks before. Just give them like 2 weeks before today's date, because then if something happens, because we never know, right? If something happens that they cannot make it for today, then what? You are not going to have a letter of recommendation. You don't want to risk that. So, tell them that you need it before, like 1 or 2 weeks before your real deadline that you want to submit. Okay. You will most likely need to pester them to get the letters on time. So this means that sometimes you have to remind them that you need it by this time and that time. And don't be shy on that. But if you are still, in the planning process, like you already look at the requirements, you are starting to tick off one or two of the requirements for letter of recommendation, you can start with thinking who you want to ask from. Okay, that's the first step for letter of recommendation. Kira-kira siapa ya yang bisa ngasih aku letter of recommendation yang bagus banget gitu. Okay, and don't be afraid to ask them or remind them. You never know if they are really supportive of you. If you're afraid to ask, then that's your loss. Okay. So this is about FERPA. If you've been to the application website, you will or portal of the university, you will most likely see this part. Should I waive my right to review recommendation letter? It's called FERPA in short. The short answer is yes. Because there's no need for you to worry on checking yes in this part. and waiving your rights to see the letter of recommendation on the FERPA's waiver section for your university application. Because the thing is, letter of recommendation emang supposed to be confidential. You're not supposed to know what they write about you. You can guide them and ask them favors to highlight this part and that part to support you for this program in this university. But it's supposed to be confidential. You're not supposed to know what they write about you. Okay. And that's why letter of recommendation become powerful, because uh, the recommender have this independence to talk about you without you knowing. You know, if you click yes, FERPA lets you request access to your recommendation letter after getting in and enrolling in a school. So if you waive your right means you let go of your rights to see the letters. Okay. Um, so if you click yes, FERPA lets you request access to your recommendation letters after getting in and enrolling in a school. Okay. So who should write the letters of recommendation? I want to repeat this again and again. First rule is know you well. Second is know your work. And then the rest is like know you long enough to write with authority. So this person have to be at least someone who is a bit higher in position or level in work as you, is because they have the authority kind of to write you, to see your work and review your work, because they have the authority. Okay. Describe your work positively, have a high opinion of you, know where you're applying, know your educational and career goals. If they don't know at that point, but they are very supportive of you and they work with you and everything like that, you can let them know your educational and career goals. And that's why you give them your CV or resume, and then maybe your statement of purpose as well, to help them to get to know you better in that aspect. Okay. Be able to favorably compare you with your peers. Be well known. Be able to write a good letter. So a good letter is kind of like, a lot of people, especially if you're in high school, if you go to schools that are not international schools and you ask your teachers for letters of recommendation, you will hear, even if you go to universities in Indonesia, you ask from your professor to write you a letter. A lot of my advisees' concern or curhatan is, yeah, they ask, they told me to write it myself, and they will sign it for me and everything like that. So that is a no. And if you feel like their struggle is writing in English, you can try to convince them by saying, I'm going to translate all of my transcript, so I can just, translate the letters that you give to me as well. So that can convince them to write in Bahasa Indonesia, and later you can translate them using Swan Translator together with your transcript and everything that you need to translate, and you got a good letter, okay, which is not what you wrote yourself, because you cannot write your own letter because you want to, because if you do, you are risking the plagiarism, and you're breaking the ethical conduct. Okay. Provide all necessary information. The referees may not remember anything about you. So if you graduated, this is very true in the case where you graduated long time ago, and then suddenly you go to this professor you never been in touch before, after you graduated, and you ask for a letter of recommendation. They have so many students every year, every semester. It's natural that they cannot remember all of their students. So this is your job to make them remember and provide them with your information. Okay. What do you need to provide your referees? Okay, you may want to screenshot this one because it's important. You start with transcript, resume, or curriculum vitae, which is your CV. So this is not in order and this is not a checklist, but we recommend you to give them all of this, okay, to make it easier for them to write you a strong letter of recommendation. Admission essay, which is like your statement of purpose or personal essay. Courses you have taken with them if they are your professors back in college. research experience, internship, and other applied experiences. Awards you have won, work experiences, professional goals, list of programs to which you are applying, and due date for the application. Remember the due date, you don't want to give your real due date. You don't have to lie, you can just say, I need it by. You don't say, I need to submit it by. Okay, guys, that matters. The recommenders ask me to write it for them. Can I do that? So this is, again, I want to highlight this. It's a no. It's definitely a no. Okay. No matter how urgent it is, it's still a no. If you are risking yourself to write yourself, then the chances are this admission office who read thousands of essays will catch that, oh, this is the same writing style as your essay. That's for letter of recommendation doesn't make sense. Why is it the same style of writing? Because they will catch that. Even for Fina and me, who do not read as much essay, as those admission officers, we can tell if you're trying to copy paste certain phrase that's not. So if you write your own story, blah blah blah, in the introduction, and then your second paragraph is a copy paste from somewhere else, we can tell. And we don't even have that much experience yet compared to the admission officer. So you don't want to gamble on that. Okay. You are not supposed to write the letter. The referees are. That's one. And I think these are the tips. Okay. The thing is, it's supposed to be confidential, like I said, and that's why you also waive your rights. Okay. And if they refuse to write themselves, try to find other referees. This is why I said, even if you are still, in the phase of planning to study to US, you need to start thinking who you want to ask. So you have, contingency plan, like plan A, plan B, plan C. If this person cannot write for me, who can? Just don't stick with just one person or two person. You need backups. Okay. If referees ask you to write it for them, you are not supposed to say yes. If they're not capable to write in English, like I have mentioned, offer your help to find them a sworn translator. The admissions committee take these supposedly confidential letters very seriously. If they ever find out or suspect that you write your own letters, they can just reject your application right away. I had advisee asking me, can I get blacklisted? The fact is, we never know if we got blacklisted or not, because they won't tell you, hey, you're blacklisted. No, they won't tell you. But if they ever find out or suspect that you are copying or plagiarizing or breaking this ethical conduct, they can just remember that this person did. And if you are reapplying, what are the chances that they still remember that? Okay, so you don't want to risk this at all. It's your reputation. It's very, very important, and you cannot exchange it with any amount of money. Okay. And this is a sample letter of recommendation. If it's from your faculty or past professors, they should look like this: university letterhead on top, and then the name of the recommender and department, phone number and details, and then email, and today's date, recipient name, recipient institutional address, and then for your university or your program, like dear, the recipient name, or to whom it may concern, to make it more general. And here the key is, do not put any Mr., Mrs., Miss. We don't want to stick with any gender in the title. Just dear and name, or to whom it may concern. Okay. And it applies to the same rule if you are emailing the professors that you want to get to know it, you want to connect with. Do not use Mr. or Mrs. because I totally don't recommend it. You never know how they want to be addressed. It's best to stick with prof or dear and first name. Okay. So this is a sample of how a good content of letter of recommendation can be. Okay. It is my pleasure to recommend Jane Doe for this. The student in here, I came to know this person, da 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 da, And then in the second paragraph, they can talk about overall, Jane is highly intelligent and has good analytical skills, and then her project on ethical practices in ancient, blah, 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 blah. So this is a very, very detailed on how highly capable you are, how great you did in this past project, that this professor, no, okay, he was with you. He was with Jane Doe with this program and this project and everything. So that's why he have this authority to write so well, because he or she knows Jane Doe very well, and supportive of him as well. Okay. Jane has excellent communication skills. Her written work is both clear and concise, very interesting to read, demonstrate da 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 da. She always explained her views very concisely and gave supporting arguments that were both clear and persuasive, also demonstrated good teamwork. So this is like, describing Jane Doe in a very whole person, is a very well-rounded person, not only smart, but also very good in writing, in communication, very good in understanding. This is perfect. This is a very good letter of recommendation. And if someone who reads this don't know Jane Doe, they will, picture Jane Doe as who is very, very great, very, very capable. So this is a continuation at a personal level. So yeah, you kind of like peel the layers, like from, maybe working in a group, and then tasks, like individual tasks, like maybe personal paper and everything like that, and then the personal level, like the personality. So it includes everything of you. Okay. At personal level, Jane is very disciplined, blah 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 blah. Ethical topic. Not only was she interested and motivated in learning the material. Okay, I'm going over time a bit. But she also put great work into assimilating it to her own experience and everything. So this is a very detailed, what do I call this? Visualization of how she do things. It shows that this recommender know Jane Doe very well. Okay, so this is kind of like the closing of the letter. If I can be of any further assistance, provide you any information, do not hesitate to contact me. And the sender means the recommender's signature and name and title. Okay, it's just a sample, guys, so just keep in mind. So yeah, it's roughly like one page in a very detailed letters. Okay, be sure to send a thank you note to your recommender because they put so much effort to support you. I think it's just fair that you give them an appreciation after that. Okay. So you can get one of the Education News at America advisors, Fina or me, to check your CV or resume. So usually CV and resume will be me. You can send it to me instead of Fina. Fina loves essay better. So you can send your essay to her and CV resume to me. But we sometimes, switch as well. So Fina sometimes do CV resume. I also do essay. So we are both actually doing both CV resume or essay. So feel free to send to any of us, okay? And good luck to all of you. I hope this presentation is helpful. And I think we will go into the Q&A. And I see so many people is, talking in the chat box, which is a very happy thing. Hi, Fina.
Hi, Santika.
Hello, you're back.
That was great. Yes, thank you so much for covering the presentation. I don't know what to do without you. It was great. We have actually, a lot of questions. I helped answer pretty much like all of them in the chat box. But yeah, everyone else who's watching this, and if you have, like any other questions, if it's not related to CV, but you kind of like also want to know more about what we do, but the essay, we have what, like 25 minutes?
Yeah, we do have, let's see, 40, yeah, 25 minutes. I think it should be enough, right? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay.
So, in the if you go to the Excel sheet, you can see some of the question. There is one from Mutiara Suharoyo in Zoom. Hopefully, you're still watching. basically is asking, is it okay to use font size 11 in the resume? So what do you think, Santika?
I think it really depends because I forgot to mention this, but if you know white space, the term white space, jadi kayak satu halaman, kalau semuanya text very padat gitu, that would be very hard to read for people who's trying to skim through. Gitu. Jadi you don't want to make it too compact, like full text and smaller font. That will be, harder to read. So what you want to do is see how the white space is doing. If you're doing size 11 and then the white space is still okay, nggak terlalu overwhelming, then go ahead. As long as the font is clear, I don't think that will be a problem.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I would say we can't really see a big of a difference between font size 11 and 12. So I would say you can do 11 if you want, but don't go less than that. Like I saw people would do 10, trying to compromise, but I have a lot of things to put, and then I just want to have like one page. But no, 10 is too obvious. So, but yeah, again, like what you said, just play around with the margin. So, if there are, like some extra space on top or on the left side or on the right side, you can kind of like,
Yeah, and sometimes people don't realize that the first, second, and third bullet point can be made concise. Jadi kayak you break it down like task A, task B, achievement A, achievement B, but they can be one strong achievement in one bullet point. So you can get even stronger that way. So yeah.
And there's Agnia Dima. I also answered the question in the chat, basically asking, what is analytical or quantitative resume? I heard some university requires it, and I said, yeah, I would actually have a number of advisees shared with me about, the university asked, like this kind of resume. Unfortunately, I'm not really familiar with it because the one that we show tonight is basically, like the general type of resume. But my understanding about analytical quantitative resume is when you are, applying to a program where they really wanted to see your quantitative background, like your math, like if you have courses like that. So usually the university will give you a sample of what quantitative analytical resume on their website. So just basically just follow that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any advisees?
Yeah, actually, I think we had one or two advices before. We talk about this quantitative CV or resume, and the interesting part is the one that you mentioned, Vina, like the quantitative classes that this advisee ever taken in university. Kayak di S1-nya dia pernah ngambil kelas apa-apa aja nih untuk kuantitatifnya gitu. So that I think you need to look at the prerequisites if all for your program, especially if they ask for that kind of CV or resume. I think they will also explain that you will need this kind of requirements on your prerequisites classes, like how strong or how deep this quantitative knowledge that you need. Jadi I think that's a good start. Look at the requirements on the prerequisite classes. Kalau masih nggak jelas, you can try to email the admission office, like specific department, for that department, because then they will know what to give you on the answer. But if you want to discuss it together with me, feel free to, email me and we can just schedule for one. Okay.
Santika, have you mentioned about, like when someone emailed us about their CV, they need to have like the US version?
Yeah. So I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Karena because I find it like today we are telling them on, this is the US CV resume US template. They look like this. So yeah, if you guys want us to, Fina or me, to review, give you input on your CV or resume, please convert them first into the US template first. Wherever you're watching, I hope you're still watching. Convert them first to the US template first, and then send it to us, and then we can review review your CV or resume that's already in the US template. If you don't know how to find the template, gimana, Vina?
Yeah. So yeah, we can't stress this enough because this is like part of our monthly event, right? But based on our experience, usually it's expected that probably like even maybe now when we check our email center, there were probably like some of you already emailed us with your CV and then still in the Indonesian version. Or maybe like probably tomorrow, some of you guys emailed us, hey Fina, I watched the session. I definitely really appreciate it, but then some people still have the CV in the Indonesian, like the non-US outlook, and so without you converting it, we can't really move on. So
Yeah.
usually what we do is, like by sending samples of the US version, and then please change it first. I have like an advisee who would email me like back and forth like twice because so the first time I said you're still not converting it in to the US version, and so I gave them the sample, but then when the person emailed me back, it's still not exactly similar to the US version, and then I said please convert it again to the US version, and then the third time then we went to Zoom together and then review it together. So just to save some time, guys, please again change it
Yeah.
to the US version first.
Yeah.
We really
But what I
appreciate that.
usually do, but what I usually do if you are lost in, trying to convert the
Mm-hmm.
Indonesian to US version,
Mm-hmm.
you can, but it's really easy to find, guys. You just need to go to Google and then US CV or resume template and choose something that's from university. I usually use the Illinois one. Fina used an example from other university just now in the PPT. So yeah, as long as it's from university in United States, you can try to use that one. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
So
actually
I
really
just
easy. It's really easy to navigate. Just Google it, U.S. University CV samples. But then again,
yeah,
yeah, if you want to just kind of like email us, and we'll be happy to send you the some of the
yeah.
samples.
And I just shared my email in the Zoom chat box. It's salim@educationusa.org. So send me in the Word document file attachment and in US template. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you need guidance, let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those people who are not in Zoom, I hope you catch my email.
Yeah.
Right.
So Santika, we have a number of good questions. We have Haikal Riza from YouTube. Hopefully you're still watching this session. Could we use the recommendation letter for more than one university, or the referee should made it specifically for one university?
So I think it should be specific to one program name, one university in that one letter, but you
Mm-hmm.
can ask the recommender to write you know, more than one letter. I mean, you can change that part, change this program to this university, but the content is the same. So just that part is being changed, being personalized, but same letter from the same recommender.
Yep.
Jadi
Completely.
di-personalize
Yep.
juga.
Completely agree. So, well, technically, the recommender may want to kind of modify a little bit on each letter. Basically the content when you talk when they're talking about you personally, that's basically you can share it, you can use it for like so many different universities, but normally the recommender may want to kind of like talk about like when he or she is really vouching for you to go into this specific university. So you want to kind of like modify the university part, but yeah. There is another question from Agnia Dima in Zoom. Do
Mhm.
we need to include the list of our coursework in the CV as well from our bachelor's degree? So let me answer this one because I
Yes,
saw
please.
some of my advisees would put their coursework in the CV, and then I would ask them why would they do that, and then if they said, "Oh, the university is actually requires us to put the coursework," then there you go, you put it right. But if the university is not asking you anything about like mentioning the coursework, then no, because technically it's going to be available in your transcript, right? So the short answer is no, unless the university actually asks that. Okay. There's Soraya Weldina Ragil the Zoom. If you're applying for the art-related subjects, do we need to attach our portfolio, either image or link in our CV and resume? That is actually a good question. I have not seen that because usually people who are interested in the art program, they separate that. So they have like just the normal resume or CV, like what we covered tonight, but then they also have like portfolio. Depending on what the university is asking, is it like online, or is it something that they ask you to have like the hard copy and then you kind of like scan it or something. It really depends on the university. Yeah, and and then there is Muhammad Shafar, not related to CV, which is totally okay. This is interesting. How if GRE requirements at the university is optional? So should we fulfill it? Somehow I love this kind of questions. At least we always have this kind of questions, ya San. Kayak,
that's right.
The university is asking for an optional, for an optional essay, or an optional essay. Should we put it? It really depends. What I can share with you is when they say optional, it's literally optional. So if you don't submit it, they're not going to think, oh, you're not submitting the optional essay. Okay, I don't want you. I'm moving on to the next applicant who has the optional essay. No, that's not going to happen, right? But if you pretty much like confident, if you're taking the GRE, you're going to have, like good score, and then you have the money for, like registering the test and everything, you have the time and everything, then why not, right? But don't see it as something that you have to do it, because they call it optional for a reason. It's literally optional. So really depends on where you are right now with your application status. Okay.
Yep.
We have Jimmy Kennedy here, also in Zoom. How if our education background and work experience in CV or resume are not related with the program that we are applying for? Thank you. I would say that's okay. I mean, there's nothing we can do, right? I mean, unless you are going to apply to the universities that have different program than what you have had the experience on, and then you're actually planning to apply like in the future, like in the next 2-3 years, then you may kind of like think about having resumes that is maybe related, but you don't have to. So plus in the US, normally the universities allow you to take a program where you don't have the background, the similar background. So it's very common. People did like hardcore science in bachelor's degree, and then they took MBA for master's degree. That's two different programs, right? Okay. So just do well in your resume. I think that would be sufficient. Oh, there you go. We have Fina with an F, not an V. In Indonesia, usually so with a V. Hi, Fina. Hello, my name is Fina as well. Hi. I have a question. Does the CV look better if the contents are more about academic achievements rather than organization skill? What does a recruiter really look for in our CV resume? That's good. That's a good question. But I would say I would see more on your organizational skill, because academic achievements, again, that's something that they can take a look on your transcript, right? So in resume, so usually like in the university, like US universities, they like to take a look at different documents with different information. So they don't like the information to be overlapped, right? So like when you submit your transcript, then that's kind of like giving them an idea where you are on your academic achievements, right? But then they would like to see your resume because they want to see your professional experience and other activities, like your volunteer experience maybe, or maybe you have like a number of leadership experience or what have you, right? Okay, so I would say organizational skill.
Thank you.
Cendikia Raihan Albairuni from YouTube. Hi, I just want to know if it's possible to get master's degree in a different area of study with my bachelor's degree, and how to adjust my CV and resume for that. Good question. I basically just covered that not too long ago. But normally in the US, they welcome applicants from different backgrounds. unless they specify it. So for example, like I would have an advisee who would do master's degree in economics. Normally, when you want to do master's degree in economics, you will want to have a background in economics for your bachelor's degree, right? But let's say you want to study public health or MBA or even public policy. Those are the programs that we actually see a lot of Indonesians are interested in, and actually not a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them are actually, do not have a similar background, and that's actually really possible. And we actually see that from our past events when we invite some of these incoming students. So yeah, it really depends on the program that you want to do. How to adjust your CV, again, like something that I covered earlier. It's pretty, whatever you have done, you just put everything in it in the CV, right? And the resume probably depends, because on my slide I covered about, like when you want to adjust the contents in the resume. But for those of you who don't basically have a similar like experience in that field that you want to take, then it is what it is, right? What can we do, right? Unless you want to take the program like in the future. But if you're applying like very soon, then it is what it is. We have to have content in your resume. Okay. We have what, like 8 minutes here. Let's see. Fauzia in Zoom. Hi
Yeah.
Kasantika and Kavina. I want to ask, what if there is no academic achievements in our CV or resume? Is that okay? What do you mean by no academic achievements? You mean you don't mention the GPA? Which, by the way, if you have, I would say if you have a GPA of 3.1 and above, you actually can put your GPA on your resume and CV. And if you have like above 3.5, you definitely want to put it in your resume and CV. But other than that, basically in the resume or CV, anything related to academic would be kind of like your education or your thesis, and maybe you have done any, like you have research experience in campus. But yeah, I'm not really sure what you mean by no academic achievements, but yeah, let us know if you want to.
Yeah, I have a bit to add on that, Vina, because a lot of us Indonesians kayak apa ya, terlalu humble, terlalu low key. In a way, like they graduated with 3 point something GPA and they still think it's bad. So no, that's not the thing. It's good. So you can include that, like Vina said, boleh dimasukin. And as long as you graduated, I think that's just an academic achievement, That's what you can put in, So that's not like, oh, I can put it in because, I graduated with this kind of score and everything. No.
Or
Mungkin,
even,
yeah.
or even some people afraid to put their campus because they said,
exactly.
oh, I didn't graduate from UI or ITB, and I'm like, who cares?
Why?
Like, no, in the US, they don't, as long as the university that you graduated from is accredited, you're good to go. Don't. I always say, don't sell yourself short. Even like with the GPA, right? Some people are shocked when I said, yeah, if you have 3.1, if you have 3.2, you can actually put it in the resume. And for us in Indonesia, 3.1 is actually really bad. And I'm like, we have like a different perception in GPA,
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny. Not long ago, I had one new advisee asking me about that specific kayak. Like, I went to this school. Like, will it be a problem because they don't know this school? It's a small school here. I'm like, no, because you're an international student and they won't know other school, in outside of United States as well. Like, it's in Bahasa Indonesia, they won't know. So that's not going to be a problem at all as well. As long as you graduated, just put it there. And then if what you mean by academic achievement is like kayak honors lah, atau kayak cum laude lah, atau kayak juara ini itu, that's not really necessary. As long as you graduated, that you have a degree, you are qualified, kayak kamu mencentang requirements mereka, that's it. Just go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I believe
so Fauzia here is actually elaborating on the question. So he meant by not having like competition because because she never joined like paper competition.
No worries.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like really, yeah.
Don't worry
Don't
about
worry.
it. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if everyone go to competition?
That's boring, guys. Seriously. I mean,
Right.
if you happen to have like this kind of activities, then good for you. But it doesn't mean that everyone has to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe last question. From William here in Zoom. How about the GPA? How do we know our GPA fit with the university standard? Because in Indonesia, the GPA score maximum is 4, but GPA in the US, A up to 5. Sorry if I'm wrong about this. In the US, it's actually used 4.0 standard of GPA. I heard about the GPA of 5.0, but I don't think that is in the US, right, Santika?
So yeah, I'm not familiar with the GPA of 5.0 as well because
I heard about it, but I don't remember. I don't think it's in the US. I think it's like somewhere else. But yeah, so far what I know for GPA in the US is actually 4.0, which is easier for us because it's pretty similar. Fira here said that's GPA standard in South Korea. Okay, yeah, I think somewhere else, Yeah, thank you, Fira, for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, we are done with the Q&A, and it was enjoyable despite of the surprises today. I hope you guys.
I know. It was like the first time ever since we're going digital. I don't know what happened. It just like dropped on me. Sorry, guys, but glad to have Santika here to basically cover up the presentation. But really, thank you so much, Santika. Thank you so much, everyone who is watching this. I asked earlier in the chat, if you guys, like are applying this for fall 2021 or 2022. The majority of you guys say basically 2021. So yeah, and then next week, same day, same time, I'm going to talk about essay. Very excited. I'm going to do it from America, so I can assure you there won't be any problem with the internet. I'm sorry, I'm at home right now. Sorry about that, but yeah, no, thank you so much, guys. We really look forward before next week if you want to have a session one-on-one with us, right? So we're available every day. Santika shift is from 1 until 5. My shift would be from 5 until 9. Obviously, except when we have a session right now, because both of us are running the event.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Santika, do you have any last word?
I do. Actually, I want to give a heads up if you guys are trying to, find us in Zoom or email us. Please have a bit more patience because we are currently having high volume of emails, VICs, because the deadline is quite close. So a lot of people come to us like, can you review my essay? Can you review my CV and resume and everything like that? So yeah, have a bit more patience and feel free to, reach out to us if you need anything. And you need to come next month for the same this CV, resume and letter of recommendation event because Fina then will be presenting. Today is me, and then you need to, learn from Fina as well. So even though it's the same thing, but you will learn something new for sure. So yeah, stay tuned to our next event. We have Saturday for TOEFL IBT Part 2, and then next week, Thursday, will be essay, and then the next one, I think, a sharing session, Fina, with incoming students and current students, which is very interesting. If you guys are applying for graduate schools, you want to learn from them how their journey and everything. That will be tanggal 16, I believe. And then tanggal 17 is the last TOEFL IBT for this month. So yeah, that's that. Thank you everyone for joining us, and Fina as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Fina, you want to hand it over to Education USA, at America team?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you guys again. I'll see you this Saturday. Don't forget the TOEFL. All right. Thank you guys again, and I'll give you back to our e-guide.
Thank you so much to Kak Fina and Kak Santika for today's very informational session. Earlier in the event, we asked our audience members a question. Ideally, a length of a resume should be, and the correct answer to that is option A, 1 page, no more. Congratulations goes to Idvan Maung from Zoom for answering correctly. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Don't forget to tune in next time to get another chance for a shout out from us. Now, you may be wondering, how can I develop an awesome idea for a place like this? That's easy. All you need to do is go to our website at www.atamerica.or.id, select Create a Program, and click Collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured here soon. Now you may be wondering, how you can also subscribe to our newsletter for all our event updates, fun contents, and so much more. That wraps this episode. It's been fun, but we have to say goodbye for now. Follow our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at @ATAmerica for all our fun contents, event updates, and so much more. Thanks for joining. Again, my name is James, and see you all next time at the next At America TV episode. Goodbye.